Hi, I'm Sandra.
Hi, I'm Triffany, and we're friends. Every time we get together, we have these crazy, awesome insights about manifesting, life, synchronicity.
And one day I said, it's too bad we didn't record this because somebody out there could have benefited from hearing this.
And that's how this began.
We never know what we're going to talk about, but when we do and the magic happens, we want to share it with you.
Okay, we're live now. Hey, Triffany, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I am well on my 30-day challenge. I have not checked Google Analytics at all.
So how's that feel?
It actually feels, it's interesting. It's making me look at work in an entirely new way, actually. And it's really making me look at the percentages of time spent in different areas of work and going, this was pretty unbalanced. And it's, this is a great, great way of getting a lot more balance in my life. And so it's kind of interesting, because we talked about, our viewers looking at their distractions, right? Their viable, easily justifiable distractions, but yes, distractions nonetheless. That's the bottom line, that there are distractions. And, we were thinking about it in terms of, work for us. But right, I could see how that can be generalized to any aspect of your life. I mean, you just look at any aspect of your life and just go, what percentage of my time is being spent on what? So like, look at your values. I mean, if you value family, well, what percentage of your time is dedicated to family? What percentage of your time is dedicated to worrying? What percentage of your time is dedicated to, doing what it is that you enjoy in your life? And it would be interesting, I think, for people to just do it like a pie graph. Just do a big old circle on a piece of paper and just be like, okay, what percentage would you allot to family? What percentage would you allot to you time? What percentage would you allot to fear and worrying about the future? What percentage of time are you spending, regretting the past, or, having arguments with things in your head about things that have already happened? And just go, whoa, this is your life. Are you happy with it?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, okay, so I have to share because you totally just triggered a content thing for me, because I had a course under development. This is one of the things I put on hold when I said no more content creation unless it's marketing related, right? So I have this course that I'm putting on hold, and one of the exercises in it is exactly what you're talking about. And the point I'm trying to make is even if, okay, so say your pie is this big, okay? And you've got, family here in this little spot, spirituality here, community here, and you've got all the way around, okay? And let's say you're spending most of your time in entertainment, but none in spirituality, and then you've got a wheel. That's your wheel, what you've made up. And what's going to move faster? A wheel that has a great big chunk that's longer than it's going to clunk along and it's going to be hard to move, or one that even if you're spending less energy, you're more evenly distributing it, and then it actually makes a wheel. So maybe out of your pie this big, if you're spending this much energy, but it's more equal, that's going to move you forward faster. And so now you just said that, and I'm like, oh, it's so good, and I got to finish that course. How do I put this on hold? And there's the distraction. There's the pull to do the thing. That. Damn it, Sandra.
I know, but we just said 30 days. I mean, and look, we've only gone 1 week, and look at the revelations that have come about so far, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. So true. So worth it. So I want to ask you a follow-up question though, because you said you were going to replace some of that work time, not with other work, but with joy. So I want to hear what you're putting in place. What joyful things are you putting in those spots?
Oh, did I say that? Did I say I was going to replace it with joy?
Yes. Yes, you did. And this, folks, is the benefit of accountability.
Yes. That is true. And actually, now that I think about it, I forgot to write down on my things to do list. What I have started to replace that time with is going back to um, Spanish on Duolingo, which I
Yay!
hadn't done in a long time.
I broke another 100 and something day streak and I haven't been back.
Well, you know what? I've let go of the whole streak thing because it was putting unnecessary pressure, and in the end, it really wasn't that important. I mean, what is really the significance of having the streak? You're not getting anything out of it, right? To me, that was just a different form of a distraction, that we're giving this distraction a level of importance that it really does not have.
That's a good
It's just
point.
an illusion of importance. And so once I let go of this, you have to have, these consecutive streaks. I actually got more joy out of doing it, because before it became an obligation. Like, ugh, I can't go to bed yet because I haven't done my Spanish Duolingo yet.
Right.
When it was not enjoyable. It wasn't enjoyable at all. It became another task. Oh, I have to do this before the day is over. I got to do this before the day is over. Now I do it. If I skip a day, oh well, because the streak is not important. It's the fact that I enjoy doing it, and I am doing it. I am not like forgetting about it for long periods of time, which I would do probably unconsciously out of resentment for having to do it.
Right. Because it becomes onerous. It's one more thing I got to do. That's a really good point. And that really highlights for me the fact that somewhere along the way, that energy shifted and I missed it, because the streak for me was part of the fun. Like, that made me look forward to it. So I could add one more day, because, I'm all about that progress, not perfection, right? So if I can add one more new layer, well, now it's this much bigger. And I like, that's exciting to me. But at some point it switched and I didn't notice. It switched to exactly what you're talking about, this onerous obligation instead of something that was fun and self-empowering. And I didn't catch it. That's a really, really good point. So how do you catch that stuff? What if when it, like something like that starts out fun and joyful and exciting and you're learning and how do you catch the switch from, this is something I've chosen? People do this with their education. I'm finally going back for my MBA. They're so excited. And then that first essay comes and now it's, I have to do homework. Like, how do you catch that energy shift and what do you do? How do you fix it?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of harder, I think, for the person going back for the master's, because there's a lot invested in that.
Yeah.
So, but I think for something smaller, like, doing the Duolingo, for me, I think it's more about paying attention to your feelings. Like, once your feelings about it change, then you got to ask yourself, maybe not use the word imaginary, because your conscious mind, your ego is going to be like, there's nothing imaginary about this. This is important. If you don't keep this up, you're not going to keep it up at all. But to ask yourself, like, why is this so important? Like, I had to, it just dawned on me, like, why is doing this every single day, even on days I don't have the time to do it, why am I making that important? How does the importance of that relate to my ultimate goal? Mm-hmm. And there wasn't as much of a connection between that and my ultimate goal that once I started questioning it. So unfortunately, with the MBA, that homework is truly tied into your end goal, which is to get that degree. So there is that's an importance that you can't deny. But for me, anyway, I was like, doing this every day, forcing myself to do it every day, not doing it every day, but forcing myself to do it every day took away from my end goal, which was to enjoy being fluent in Spanish.
Right.
And if I felt like I had, forced myself to do it, then I'm just going to be like, yeah, I know I speak Spanish, but, big deal. I forced myself to do it.
Right. Well, I think your point still holds, though. It's a difference in magnitude, of course, but voluntarily learning a language versus, I've committed, I've paid money, I've told an entire class they can rely on me for my part of the presentation, whatever. But your point actually still holds. And this is one of the things that I try to remind myself and my clients all the time, is that you actually do have choices. You constantly have choices. You could actually choose not to pay your mortgage. That is an option. right? You choose every month to put whatever money towards your house. That's a choice. And no, but I have to pay the more. No, you don't. Now, are there going to be consequences if you don't? Yes, there's an opportunity cost to that you want to weigh. But just by allowing yourself to see options, a lot of times takes that obligatory feeling right off your back. Because you know what? I could conceivably stay in my house for 6 months without paying the mortgage before they kick my ass out. I could live mortgage free. That's a trip to Europe. I could do that and go to Europe after I'm kicked out. Save up that. I have those options, and now suddenly I get to choose again. So even that person in the MBA program, I could choose not to do my homework. That's an option. What are the consequences? And I think a lot of the times when we make something rote, and this is, I think, what I did with the language, when we make it so routine and we make it just part of the list, we forget the value that we wanted it to have in our lives in the first place. So big or small, every choice we make is still a choice. We just oftentimes forget that we made the choice in the first place. So that's a really good point you made.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, most people, I think it goes back to, paying attention to how you feel. Because most people, I mean, unless you're in over your head, like, don't really even, there's no real feeling attached to paying your mortgage.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't feel anything when I pay my mortgage. I'm like,
I do.
This is just what I do to keep the roof over my head. I don't feel like resentment or anything like that. If I was over my head, I probably would feel resentment and fear every time I wrote the check to the bank and be like, and if you're, really conscious, you do it with a sense of gratitude. Mine is just on automatic, debit from my bank. So I didn't even notice it going. But I mean, if I were writing a check, then I would be conscious of doing it with a sense of gratitude that I have a home to sleep in, that it protects me from the elements, during the winter, during the summer, etc. So I think it really goes back to, I mean, your feelings are going to give you a lot of information about how do you, what is the meaning that these things have for you?
Yeah, that's a good point. And if you can't catch the feelings, because even those are by default, we remember the conversation we had, 2 or 3 or 4 episodes of this, whatever ago, staying in touch with the body. Because I'll tell you, a lot of times when I can't catch my thoughts and feelings, I can feel it in my body. I'm like, oh, my lower back needs stretching. And then I go, oh my gosh, that's when I feel overburdened. Where am I putting too much on myself? Anger takes up residence in my neck and shoulders. So if I start doing this, I'm upset about something.
Well, you know what? That's interesting that you get those physical sensations that tell you that. Because when I was teaching emotional intelligence classes, I would talk about George Soros, who's a super successful hedge fund manager, and he used his own bodily signals as well to tell him, oh, this is what you need to sell this stock, or you need to buy this stock. And his body knew before he could consciously explain why he needed to buy or sell a certain stock. And he was super rich because of it. So that's a huge point to listen to your body. Absolutely.
There's something to that. I'm absolutely convinced it's the communication device between the subconscious and the conscious. I really do believe that. I mean, if you look at, we are this universal energetic spark. We chose to be in this limited body. Then this body is a tool for something. And if our purpose on this planet is to be better in love, in the state of being, in that God light, then the tools we would have at our disposal, including our body, would only serve that purpose, right? So it's like a divining rod, right? Like it's going to shake and shimmy and get really excited when it's going the right direction, and it's just going to be nothing or droopy or hard to listen to when it's not leading you towards something. And it's super, super important. I'll tell you, the more in tune I've gotten with my body, the better off everything I've done with my kids, with my business, with my home, with my pets, all of my decisions. I mean, you remember last summer when I took in the foreign exchange student.
Yes.
It didn't make logical sense at the time, but my body said yes. So I said, okay, here we go. And it was fun. We learned so much. It was great.
That was a wonderful experience. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was neat. So yes. And I guess this whole conversation just kind of points to presence, doesn't it? Like it just really tells us again, whether it's thoughts, feelings, emotions, your body, to just stay in constant presence to what you're experiencing. Positive, negative, negative.
Yeah. But you know what, that I love your point, and it's a great reminder. I think it's something I know I appreciate your reminding, and keep reminding me on a regular basis that how important it is to listen to your body. And I never thought of the body as a divining rod, like you mentioned, and then that's the purpose of this body, that we are, that we feel that our soul has been encased in. This is our divining rod that tells us, yes, go in this direction, or no, go in this direction. That's pretty amazing. I'm going to start looking at my body that way and see, okay, body, where are you leading me here? Because I know it certainly led me away from certain people.
Right? We
That's
know
been
how to
clear.
use it in those situations. We say we had a gut feeling, my heart started racing, I got hot-headed. We say those things. We know how to interpret the data when it says move away, which is good. Yeah. That's a great start. But what does it feel like when it's starting to say move towards something? And you brought it up when you were talking about paying your mortgage. If you can make that an exercise in gratitude. I am actually one of those people. I love financial Fridays. Fridays are the days that I deal with all my finances. Mondays is be the boss day, where I lay out my week, and it's
I love
true.
it.
And I assign tasks to my admin self, my marketing self. Well, now it's all marketing. But I would assign tasks to the various roles that I play, my mom, self, everything. And then on Friday, I wrap it up. How much should I bring in? What's going out? And every time I pay a bill, I get geek out. I'm so freaking excited. And the mortgage, especially, for some reason, is one I'm just like, hot damn, I got a roof over my head for another month. I get stupid. I can feel it right now, right here in between my heart and my solar plexus.
Okay, you need to talk a lot more about that, because I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't feel giddy over paying bills.
It's so stupid. I love it. But you know what it is? It is that constant, what it came from was from me not having it. Because like you said, unless you're, in dire straits, paying your bills is just something you do. And I think that for me personally, coming back out of that, as I've been through it several phases of my life, but coming back out of it after the divorce, as a single mom, as a solopreneur, getting my feet back underneath me, feeling this momentum build up, it changed that energy. It started to feel like it was like the streak used to feel. It was that, okay, one more layer of success. Okay, one more win. Okay, one more thing that I got. And it's something that has been built over time, but it came with that presence first, right? Yes, presence to the hardship, but more importantly, presence to the movement out of it. And I think that's what people forget, because a lot of times, at least with and you can tell me how this works with the people that you work with, but the people that I work with, I'll say, oh my gosh, that bonus came just in time, and now you get to pay off that parking ticket you got, and the very next thing out of their mouth is, yeah, but it would be nice to have some extra this month instead of having to get extra and then pay it back out. You got extra. You had a problem and you had extra, and that problem goes away. That's a big win. That is an exercise in abundance. That is a practice in abundance. That's receiving in abundance. But if you can't feel it, if you can't transfer that to gratitude, you're basically continuing to emit this scarcity energy, which means, what are you going to get? More scarcity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me personally, that's been one of the, I was fortunate enough to be in dire straits financially. Yay!
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the power of being a seeker, right? Is to be able to laugh at some things that, people are like, well, what's so funny about having been in dire straits? Well, we don't know light unless we have darkness to compare it to.
That's right. That's right. How would I ever know the difference? That would be something I would just take for granted. Now, is there going to come a day when I'm going to take it for granted again? Maybe, just like I did with my streak. There's when something shifts and that you lose that presence, Well, then that's just my exercise and coming back to it, right? Then that's just my opportunity to remember, I used to love paying bills. What was that like? Where is that gratitude, right? And switch it back around, because really, how do we get any better at any of this is we just keep practicing. We just keep coming back to the practice of, right?
Yeah. 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 We just need to keep getting reminded.
Yep. Conversations like these help. Accountability helps.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So are you sticking to the 30 days?
Yes. So far, so good. Last week was a good week. I actually, I can't remember if we talked about this in one of these, but I know you personally know. I've been doing these. It's a meditation I've done for years. It's called a Latihan meditation. It's a movement meditation. It's very different from my daily meditation. I was doing it only once a month, but I've been directed and received the information to do it more often. And you know, the crazy thing is, it's been so effective. So I've done it twice a week now. It was so effective from the moment I did it outside of that full moon monthly time. The marketing got easy. Like, I didn't even have to market. Things just began to happen. Somebody bought my book, and I had, like, there were just these little things. I was just like, that came out of nowhere. No, it didn't. You did what you were told energetically, right? So my Latihan is actually part of my marketing plan now. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do my Latihan. And
nice. So do you do them before bed, or after wake up, or in the middle of the day?
I do it in the middle of the day. It's during my work day. I treat it like a business thing. Like,
oh, nice.
Yep. I mark it out. It's an appointment, and it's not negotiable. It is something that yep. And it feels so good to go, like, okay, now I get to go do my energy work.
Yes.
And last Thursday, I had the most profound Latihan I've had when I've been on my own. When I'm in the group during the full moon thing with the ladies, that's amazing. But this is the most profound I've had on my own. And I'll tell you, Sandra, my whole default, I can feel it happening. My whole default around money understanding, around energy understanding, around this need for me, like this universal need. I am living in my purpose in creating and delivering these tools, but I'm cutting it short when I don't tell people about it. And that's something I've been able to intellectualize, but it wasn't something I could feel gratitude for. It wasn't something I'd be like, yes, telling people about my stuff is part of my stuff. Like, I just couldn't get there. And I feel myself having that shift. Oh my God. And this is what, the first week, not even a full week, because we started on Tuesday. So yeah. I'm super excited to see how the rest of this shifts for me as I stay committed to this challenge, because
nice.
As triggered as I was earlier and wanting to go create that class, this is going to be so good for me, because it's just going to be able to get me the tools and the people I need in my circle to build more and do more and deliver more to everybody that I already serve. So it's going really well for me. I'm super excited, which is, nice. I'm waiting. You've heard me be excited about marketing, but I am today, so I'll take it.
Oh my gosh. I think the 30 days is having a deeper effect on you than you realize.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing you be more giddy than I've ever seen you before.
Yay! There's something there. It's been a block for a long time. There's something in those foundational pieces that, I knew was there, but I didn't know what it was. And thank goodness I have people like you in my life that can help me process. I'll tell you, God, to the viewers and listeners of this, if you don't have a friend like Sandra, go find friends like Sandra. I have some amazing friends in my life, don't get me wrong, but there's people that get it at the energetic level, and there's people that get it at the physical level, and we need both, right? It's just that there's so many more people that can have that surface layer conversation. Okay, so marketing, 30 days. What's the plan? How many hours each day? What's going on? How big's your mailing list? What's your goal? Those are really good things. That keeps one foot on the ground. That keeps us in our body, right? Like, that's super helpful. But if you can find somebody who understands this stuff at the energetic level and can help you elevate that conversation and get to that giddy place and not be like, okay, weirdo. Yeah. We're just talking about a marketing plan. You can stop going off the rails here. It's just, this is so powerful for me, Sandra. I cannot tell you how grateful I am that we have this relationship and our conversations, and that we can go as deeply in as we can go, especially, you know, when it's, no offense audience, but when, you know, when it's you and I over good food and lots of time and no
Yes.
concerns. I just feel so grateful for you.
Yeah. And it'll be even more fun when I'm drinking again.
That is a lot of fun.
Yeah. It sounds horrible, but I'm a much more calm, well, not calm, but I'm a more mellow person.
When you've
I
been drinking?
realize. What?
When you've been drinking?
No, when I'm not.
Oh, I was
Like
gonna say.
I find I'm very subdued. I'm
Yes.
just kind of like a subdued person. I feel like I come across as much more serious than I really am, you know? Or maybe that's just my imagination, that I'm more fun if I'm drinking.
You know what though? No, yeah, I do understand what you're talking about. I do see that in you. You know what I think it is? I think it's that single mom syndrome. I think it's that you've got the million tabs open that you're trying to, at the same time we're doing this, you're also watching time because you know you have a 3 o'clock today. And then after that, you've got to start transitioning into picking up the kids. And what are you going to have for dinner? Like our brains, women's brains, do that all the time. But when we're doing that, when we're the head of a household and we have, like, we are, it all falls on us. I don't think it's less fun. I think it's just you're much more focused. Like it's like I've got this 20 minutes or this 20, 30 minutes with the Conscious Conversations community, and I'm going to make the best of it. And I know what's coming next. And when you're drinking, it's like, yeah, have another birthday shot. Those are really good, by the way. That was awesome.
I know. Too bad birthdays only come once a year.
We can have them whenever. We don't have to wait for birthdays. But it's nice, you know, because then you haven't blocked out a whole bunch of other things. It's just fun time, just time to be social and love each other and be with each other, and that's pretty great.
Yeah. I don't know what's printing out now.
Somebody got a hold of
my printer's just going off on its own. Oh Lord, it's printing out something that's already printed out before.
We got the energy stirring, even your computer
yes.
knows.
Maybe it's supposed to be a copy for somebody else.
There you go. Hey.
Yeah.
It could be.
It's actually a very interesting list of things I never would have thought of to test for subconscious stuff. Like,
ooh, what is it?
Yeah. I'm like, if you ever want to get together and do some of this stuff, it's amazing. It's, you know, your energetic connection to divine protection, to access from the truth to the truth. So yeah, there's diet stuff, there's electromagnetic stress, there's memories in your house. Somebody sent me this stuff of like all kinds of things to check, like what stage of the healing process are you in? Are you in the stress phase? Are you in the conflict resolution phase? You know, what are things that might be triggering and, you know, something in you? Like, is it a soul record? Is it ancestral? Is it unresolved shock? You know, what's reactivating your symptoms? A lot of this are health related. So your symptoms may be activated by a look or a place or a smell or a sound. I'm like, well, I've never even thought about, you know, checking to see if a sound was reactivating a certain symptom, you know, especially with allergies, you know, because allergies are very much subconsciously driven.
Cut out there for a second. Allergies do what?
I'm going to have to ask, you know, who is this second copy for?
Yeah, really.
I'll have to think. Because I'm like, what other energy workers do I know in my town, in Denver, that I could pass this on to?
Well, maybe you'll meet someone.
Maybe.
And you'll be like, you know what? I just happen to have this extra coffee.
I know, it's crazy. And I love it. I started looking at some of it myself, you know, like, you know, stuff that are in your cells, in your genes, in your DNA, if there's any inflammation in your body, and, you know, birth trauma, which I have started doing that with clients, because, you know, the you know, the act of being born has a lot of physical trauma to it that can affect, you know, your emotions. I mean, chiropractors have known that for a long time. You know, you shift the skeletal system and then you align a lot of things. The same basis for craniosacral therapy as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and Buddhists believe that the soul doesn't enter the body until birth. So then that would be a whole lot of like entry trauma too, just on a spiritual level, if that's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, my dear. So we should get together for lunch. I'll let you look at this list and see if there's anything that you want to, you know, go through. You know, there's connections to your archangels.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
Yeah. There's looking at different, you know, different energetic, you know, openings that shouldn't be open, you know, like, you know, openings in your chakras that might need to be closed. It's a lot.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So we'll coordinate our calendars and get something on.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Cool. Should we close up for today?
Yes, I think that's good.
Sounds good. All right. See ya.
Bye.